Hey guys, it's Amanda over at AmandaReads, and today I'm coming to you with my February wrap-up. In February, I actually managed to read 9 things, and I'm saying things because 3 of the books that I read were actually part of a serialized novel, and another book that I read was a graphic novel. So the first 3 books I'm going to talk about, I do have physical copies of, but some of them are way up high on my wall shelves. I'm kind of too lazy to pick through the piles, but I will insert pictures of them into the video, so there you go. So the first book that I read in the month of February was Space Dumplings. I had started it back in January, and I finished it on the last day of January, but had already filmed my wrap-up, so we're just gonna count it for the month of February. Space Dumplings is about this girl named Violet, and her dad goes missing, so she goes on this adventure to save him, and she kind of travels throughout the galaxy with 2 sidekicks, and it's just about that, about her looking for her dad and their adventures that they get on the way. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, almost every single graphic novel I've ever picked up is underwhelming to me. I had such high expectations for this graphic novel, and I did not really like it that much. I originally gave this book 2 out of 5 stars, but I'm honestly thinking about revising my rating to 1.5 stars. Now that I think about it, I just really didn't like it that much. The storyline was just kind of strange and hard to follow, and I know that this is like a middle grade graphic novel, so it might appeal to younger minds who are more open to like the zany and wacky storylines, but I just really wasn't into it. This book also would make in-your-face political comments and also comments that I was offended by, so I really was put off by that. One of the characters is like, oh, I was in a special needs school, and they talk about like how that's an insult, and that was insulting to me because not only do I have a brother that is special needs, I am also a teacher of students with disabilities, and I don't think it's cool or something that should even be in books anymore. Like, are we really still making jokes about that? Is that really still a thing? I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous. And I just thought it was unnecessary, especially in a book that's for middle grade readers. I just think that that's not appropriate at all. So we're gonna move on from this book because I really don't want to waste any more time talking about it, so yeah. The next book I read was This Is Our Story. This book is by Ashley Elston, and it's basically about 5 boys who go into the woods to go hunting, and they're a group of friends, and one of them ends up actually being murdered, and it becomes this big to-do. And no one knows who did it, no one is telling who did it, only the person that committed the murder is the one who knows that he is responsible. So this also follows a senior named Kate who has an internship at the district attorney's office, so she becomes involved in this case. And Kate has some personal reasons for being interested in this case, as well as, you know, business reasons that she's involved in the case. So you just kind of follow the whole investigation and find out at the end who killed the friend. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I originally found this book because of Kristen over at Super Space Chicks channel. She raved about this book and said it was one of the best books she read in 2016, so I desperately wanted to pick it up, and I'm glad that I did. I liked it, but the problem that I had with it was just when I felt like it was starting to get good and all these things were happening, it was almost the end of the book, so it was like the author, you know, noticed what page she was on and then said, oops, gotta wrap this up, and just kind of wrapped it up so neat and tidy. So I did like it, and I would recommend it to others. I just personally didn't like the way that it wrapped up at the end. The third book that I read in February was Selp-Helf by Miranda Sings, and if you don't know who Miranda Sings is, she is a YouTube personality. Her real name is Colleen Ballinger. She also has a Netflix series called Haters Back Off, and I'm actually glad that I watched the Netflix series before I read the book because I wasn't a huge Miranda Sings fan, so I didn't know a lot of Miranda's background story or anything, and the Netflix series kind of helped me with that, so I understood a lot of the references in the Miranda Sings Selp-Helf book. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was kind of hard to rate because it doesn't really have a storyline. It's like a parody of self-help books because it's Miranda. I liked that there were some QR codes that you could scan as you were reading to take you to little videos online. I thought that that was a nice little added bonus. The 4th book I read was The Ringmaster's Wife by Christy Cambron, and I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I received this in the Once Upon a Book Club box for September, I believe. This book follows 2 women's storylines. It follows Lady Lady Rosamond, who joins the circus. She's a lady, she's very important where she lives in England, but she ends up coming to America and joining the Ringling Brothers Circus. And it also follows another woman named Mabel, who is actually married to one of the Ringling brothers. It follows them in their own different timelines and storylines, so it switches from each of their perspectives and also from decade to decade. It focuses mainly on the 1920s and in the circus setting. So now I'm going to show you the gifts I got with this book. So the first gift that I got was actually this cigar box. I don't think it is a real cigar box, but it's designed to look like the cigar box in the book that one of the characters has. And you can open it up, and inside the cigar box was this postcard of the Ringling Brothers. The second gift I got is my favorite gift out of the entire box. It is amazing, and it is this pocket watch. It is adorable. I don't know how I didn't hear it ticking in the wrapping paper, and on the back it says, "It's never too late to be what you might have been." It is absolutely gorgeous, and then it also opens and you can just see the watch, and I am absolutely obsessed. Like, I cannot wait to display this on my bookshelf. Then I have this little thimble, which is so cute, and this sparkly hairpin, and then there's this little note which has a piece of cloth in it, and the last gift was actually a poster of one of the main characters. It's an advertisement for the Ringling Brothers Circus. Next, I'm going to talk about the serialized novel that I read, and that is Never Never by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher. This book is broken up into 3 parts, so we have Never Never Part 1, Never Never Part 2, and Never Never Part 3. So I gave the first book 5 out of 5 stars, the second book 5 out of 5 stars, and the third book 3.5 out of 5 stars. So Never Never is about these 2 teenagers who all of a sudden in the middle of a day forget everything about themselves. They forget who they are, they forget everything. They know nothing, they don't know who they are, they don't know where they are, they don't know who they know, and it's really terrifying. So throughout the course of the novel, the 2 teenagers have to figure out what is going on and why is it happening. The first 2 installments made me think so much, and after I finished the second part, I was just coming up with all these crazy theories about what could be happening. When we got to the third book, I was really excited because I knew that it was all going to wrap up and I was finally going to figure out what the heck was going on. The authors did a great job of writing this as like a mystery that you really desperately want to know the answer to, because you can't possibly figure out how they're going to explain it. So by the middle of the third book, I had some really intense crackpot theories, like crazy crackpot theories. So I was extremely disappointed when I got to the end of the book and it was not as exciting as what I had thought it was going to be. I was expecting some crazy twist, and I felt like the authors took the easy way out. I was honestly disappointed by the ending, which is why I only gave the third part 3.5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read in the month of February was Summer Island by Kristen Hanna, and this was my buddy read with Fiona over at Reads and Eats for the months of February and March. We are going to be having a live show to discuss Summer Island in the month of March. I'm just not sure when that will be, but I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars and I really enjoyed it. It wasn't the best I've read from her, but it wasn't horrible at all. I was instantly hooked when I read this book, and I found that anytime I picked it up, I had a really hard time putting it down, and I would read so much at a time. As everyone knows by now, Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna is one of my all-time favorite books, and I have memorized a lot of quotes from that book and a lot of scenes from that book. As I was reading Summer Island, I actually noticed some parallels between it and Firefly Lane that kind of bothered me for some reason. There was this one scene that literally is almost exactly the same as a scene in Firefly Lane. There are also quotes that I noticed were the same, and you'll be able to hear more of my thoughts about Summer Island in my live show with Fiona. But basically, this is about a woman named Nora who walked out on her family years ago, and now she's like this famous advice columnist. One day a scandal breaks about her and she's kind of, you know, delisted basically. No one believes anything she says, no one wants anything to do with her. She loses her job and she ends up getting in an accident and has to go home to heal. She doesn't really get along with her daughters because, like I mentioned, she walked out on her family, but when one of her daughters decides that she will help her mother in her recovery, it gets pretty interesting. Now, usually I don't feel like you can really see the ending of Kristen Hanna's books coming, but I felt like for this one you could, and it was pretty obvious what was going to happen, but I still really enjoyed reading the book. And now on to the final book that I read in the month of February, and that was The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. And if you don't know, this is the second book in the Raven Cycle series by Maggie Stiefvater, and I loved this book and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Honestly, I liked this second book better than the first book, and I really liked the first book, so that's saying something. I was pretty much instantly sucked into this, and I thought that there was so much more action and so much more going on than there was in the first book that I just kept going and going and going. Like, I felt like this book was a definite page turner. I really love how the series is progressing, and I cannot wait to continue on with it. So those are all of the books that I managed to read in the month of February, and as far as a March TBR goes, I'm not really sure what I'm going to be picking up in the month of March. So far right now, I am reading a book. I am reading CSI Binding Ties by Max Allan Collins, and it's based off the CSI show on TV, the CSI Las Vegas. It has all the TV characters and everything, so it's entertaining. I'm not feeling like super gripped by it, but I'm also not into it, so that's good. I'm just not sure what else I'm going to be picking up this month. I still have done really good. I have not purchased any books except the UK editions of Harry Potter. I have all of them now except the first one, and the first one is actually on its way. I ordered it off Book Outlet yesterday or the day before. So that's all the books I'm ordering. Even though it's my birthday month, I'm not planning on ordering any books. I've been doing really, really great. So that's everything I have to talk to you about today. If you'd like to, you can comment down below what your favorite book of February was. I would love to know. I will see you guys soon in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.